I certainly hope it's like that. One of the things that's interesting, I don't know whether you'd confirm this, but I remember hearing it from a voice teacher years ago, and I've sort of observed a general truth in it, which is that lady singers' songs get better, voices get better as they age, whereas blokes generally deteriorate.
Do you know what? I've never really analysed that, so I can't give you I can give you an intelligent answer because I'm basically you know, sort of, I can fake being intelligent long enough to say something interesting. But no, I actually think...
Don't speak too soon.
Generally speaking, people's voice is lower as they get older. I'm looking at Elton, for example. He's got a very low voice. When he was younger, he sounded like a young... well, he was a young Elton, but he sounded like a young Jose Feliciano, for example. Then his voice deepened.
Does he actually sing? So when he sings the big hits now, is he singing in a lower key?
I don't know. You'd have to. I haven't studied that, but I'm just saying he does sound broader and bigger. It still sounds great. I mean, I love his voice, but and other people. A lot of people say when they go on tour that they ask the arranger to bring it down by a tone or maybe even a minor third or even more because they can't hit the high notes. I listened to some of those early Womble records.
Right.
I was doing a show yesterday with my friend Pete Perfides, and he played an early Womble record by Wellington Womble, and he broke away from the band and went solo.
Oh, the Womble split citing musical, so they're just like Wham.
Yeah, because they wanted to be an album band, he wanted to do singles. So it was called The Rainmaker. It was in 1976 in the heat wave, so it was perfect. And he played it, Pete did, and I thought, how did I ever sing that high? It was whenever you want. Yeah, I can still do it.
Yeah, you can still do it.
So maybe it doesn't. Certain people, maybe. I don't know.
So Wellington Womble made a single for the heat wave of 1976, and it's just occurred to you now, and you didn't, when everyone was going bananas over 40 degrees Celsius, you could have been on the top of the hit parade.
Yeah, you see, I know you think of me as a fully paid up, what's the word, commercial opportunist.
Yes.
But in fact, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about other things, and I missed that open goal, shall we say? Yeah,
that's very. Do you think things like that still happen now? I mean, you used to have a kind of general. You used to be able to synchronise hits with the general mood. Do you think that's still a trend?
Well, of course, people still make Christmas singles, and they make them in July.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they won't be ready for Christmas.
Yeah. But that's very much the exception, and I'm not even sure. I mean, that whole Love Actually scenario where people take an old hit and then stick the word Christmas in it. My friend Randy Bachman from Bachman Turner Overdrive actually did that for real. I mean, things like that, but that's very much that's a particular thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I joked, you know, that you very kindly gave some exposure when I was last on to my new project, Coin Noir, with Ace Hansel Jr.
Yeah,
and I do neo-steampunk project that it is with its. And
we're both talking as if we know what that term means. It's fantastic. If you were to make an Ofcom complaint and say that both of us are just bluffing, that Ofcom complaint would withstand all scrutiny.
But I was saying to him, you know, why don't we just put sleigh bells on it and put one out for Christmas, and they won't know the difference. But of course, you know, I mean, one would only do anything like that as a joke. And perish the thought that I should ever do anything as a joke, Mark.
Tell me something, because you write words and music. You arrange, you produce, you sing with Bonnie Tyler, which is not someone to sing with lightly, because, as you say, she's got a phenomenal... When she's, like, you don't want to be within 5 miles when she's really letting rip.
No, she's fabulous.
By the
way, there should be a Bolly Tyler. We should do an album with Bonnie Tyler of all Bollywood stuff. That would be good. Bolly Tyler.
Now you really are thinking. That's like... You've waited half a century for this. How many times have you bought an album by a Welsh songstress singing all the great Bollywood hits?
No, and we could also have a bottle of Bolly.
Oh, yeah, and a bottle of Bollinger. Let me, since we're now digressing somewhat, let me ask you, her big hit by Jim Steinman, Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Wasn't it great?
Well, it's a fabulous record, but I wonder about that line, turn around, bright eyes, because your song, Bright Eyes, was a #1 for Art Garfunkel.
It was.
Are they referencing, is Jim Steinman referencing the song?
I don't know. I mean, I'd be honoured if he was. If it was, probably it was subconscious. But I also, the beginning of George Michael's Christmas hit goes da 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 da. Actually, without the wrong note, I sang a wrong note.
Yeah. Do it again correctly.
Da 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 da.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think that's an unconscious nick from Bright Eyes, but you know. I can't, and I wouldn't mind anyway.
You should do a Christmas version of it, and with George Michael has already sort of hinted.
Sort of
at
do
that.
a mashup.
Yeah, that's right. Turn around, brighter. Mike Batt has always got something going for him, and this new single with Bonnie Tyler is out on Friday, Into the Sunset.